Hi there. Let's talk about fostering spatial thinking through paper maps and aerials. Those of us on the Esri education team have dedicated our careers to promoting and supporting the use of GIS and spatial thinking in education to enhance teaching and learning, and to have a positive impact on society, as have many of you. We believe that Esri GIS tools are some of the best means available to fostering spatial thinking and preparing students for effective 21st century decision making. Yet we are frequently asked what non-software activities are effective in fostering spatial thinking. Thousands of indoor and outdoor activities, games, and lessons serve as excellent resources to prepare students to use GIS, and also are excellent where no access to the internet, for example, or no access to software exists. Indeed, one of my favorite stories from the recent International Perspectives on Teaching and Learning with GIS in Secondary Schools book that I co-edited came from South Africa, where students studied issues in their community and their country using paper maps. I really like what my colleague David DiBiase says about this topic. When he spoke to the United Nations last year, he said, "The digital divide is no excuse to ignore geography." Space or time doesn't permit me here to expand on the many activities based on paper maps and aerial photos that are suitable that I and others in the community have used for years. So let me just describe here one in this presentation. I've used this presentation and this activity many times in the past, from age 6 at primary school level all the way up to university level. Let's get started. Thanks. Now, this particular lesson has to do with paper maps and aerials. Before you teach this lesson with paper maps and aerials, access ArcGIS Online, arcgis.com, and change the base map to imagery or Bing aerial, whichever is higher resolution for your particular area, and zoom the map to focus on the school where you will teach this lesson. Now you may say, well, Joseph, I thought you didn't need any technology. Well, you need to print in paper form some sort of aerial photo. And one of the best ways to do that is through ArcGIS Online. So you, before you even go to the school or go to the class where you're teaching this lesson, go ahead and print 25 copies or whatever number of students you've got, a number of aerial photos. And go to ArcGIS Online to access those aerial photos or satellite images. Got it? Okay. Make sure that the school and the school grounds, or the university and the university grounds, take up most of the image, but include some of the surrounding neighborhood as well. Let me show you one of the examples here that I've got. I printed out this particular aerial from ArcGIS Online, and let's take a look at it. Okay, so what I did was I made sure that the image took up most of the pieces of the piece of paper. Okay, but not the whole piece of paper, because as we'll see, we're going to write some things in the margins there. Okay? All right, now that you've got your aerial photo, print one, as I mentioned, for each student, leaving space on the right and the top for the title, legend, and other information. Obtain one piece of translucent paper, okay, for each student, and some clear tape. Go to the class where you are teaching with your papers and your printed aerials. Ask the students what they think the school looks like from above, or whatever institution you happen to be in, university, community center, whatever. Have the students sketch the school on the whiteboard or on paper, noting which way is north. Can they identify the cardinal directions by standing up in the classroom and pointing? For example, where I'm sitting right now, north is that way. Hand out the aerials and the translucent paper. Discuss how well the aerial matches the students' drawings on the board. So when they're looking at the aerial now, they'll see, ooh, this is what our institution looks like. How accurate was my own drawing, my own conception, my own mental map of this area? Okay, so what matches the aerial photo or the satellite image? What doesn't match and why? Have the students tape the paper to the aerial along the top edge. Okay, just like this. Along the top edge only. The reason is because you want to be able to flip back and forth. You want to be able to flip that translucent paper in and out of the way. Have the students get some colored pencils, markers, crayons, whatever you've got. They need to be colored though, and you'll see why. Discuss elements that are important to a good map. Now, many of my colleagues and I have used this acronym Total SIGS for years. TODALSIGS. Standing for title, orientation, date, author, legend, scale, index, grid, and source. So add a few of those things. Add the name, the orientation, the title, the scale, and the source to start with. Then discuss map themes. Well, what are map themes? Trees, land cover, the school building, other buildings, the street, the playground if there is one, soils, lakes and streams, and so on. Have the students choose one color for each theme on the translucent paper. Trace each theme from the aerial photo onto the translucent paper, lifting up the paper when necessary to have a clearer view of the aerial or the satellite image. So let me demonstrate what I've done here. As you can see here, what I've done is I've traced with the students different themes. I just chose a subset. I chose waterways, schools, school grounds, streets, the crosswalk, houses, the track, the running track in that particular campus, and tennis courts, which was a local feature. I gave each one of them a different color, and then I made sure that the students put the same color as part of the map legend, so there'd be a visual comparison of the legend to the contents of the map. What they did, and what I did, was I traced along each feature with my colored pencil, or in this case I used markers, colored markers. It's a simple concept, but you could really teach a lot with it. Scale, cardinal directions, absolute versus relative location, land use, land cover, what is a thematic map, what is a topographic map, what are elements to a good map, how do we know a good map when we see it, who says what a good map is and a good map isn't, all that sort of thing you can teach with this concept. You can also get into how maps are made in the analog era and the digital era of GIS. So when you're done, you'll have both a map. They can lift up the piece of paper to see the map, and they'll also still have the aerial photo or satellite image. So they'll have both things. And by having their name on it, they've got a sense of pride, a sense of ownership. They can tape it to the wall or the refrigerator or whatever else they want to when they get home. Excellent. So ask students to remove the translucent paper from the aerial photo or satellite image. Now they have a map. How is the map the same as the image? How is it different from the image? Okay, so I've described a simple activity using paper maps and aerial photos. What paper-based activities have you used to foster spatial thinking, geography, and cartography? I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.